To build a foolproof case against Aaftab, Poonawalla Delhi police is leaving no stones unturned. Aaftab, the lead and so far the only suspect in the murder of Shraddha, was today taken to the forest in Delhi where he had allegedly disposed of her body parts. The police teams have so far collected 13 of the 35 pieces of the victim on the basis of information provided by her live-in partner. However, Shraddha's head and the murder weapon are yet to be recovered.
श्रद्धा मर्डर केस में अब जांच तेज हो गई है। अब दिल्ली पुलिस की टीम लगातार इस बात की पड़ताल कर रही है कि आखिर जो आफताब ने शव के टुकड़े किए थे, उन टुकड़ों को इस मेहरौली के जंगल में किस किस जगह पे रखा था। इसके साथ साथ जिस औजार की बात कही जा रही है, जो मर्डर वेपन था, उसको उसने कहां छुपा के रखा था। जरा इस जंगल की दूसरी तरफ आप नजर डालिए, आपको एक तालाब नुमा एक जंगल भी दिखेगा जिसके अंदर पानी पूरा भरा हुआ है। ऐसे में सवाल यह भी है कि क्या आफताब ने इन लाश के टुकड़ों को इस पानी के अंदर डाल दिया होगा। तो ऐसे में यह कैसे पता चलेगा कि लाश के टुकड़े कहां हैं, और यहां से उन टुकड़ों को बरामद करना बेहद ही मुश्किल काम होने वाला है।
The cops, however, are not taking any chances now, especially after being misled by Aaftab on several occasions, in what could change the course of the investigation and perhaps provide the most concrete leads the police today sought and received a go-ahead to conduct the narco-analysis test on the accused to find the truth behind several discrepancies in Poonawala's statements. Remember, not only did Aaftab succeed in deceiving the family and friends, even the Palghar police who interrogated Aaftab in September after Shraddha's family filed a missing complaint failed to see anything amiss.
इनिशियली जो श्रद्धा के पिताजी है वो 6 तारीख के हमारे पास उन्होंने एप्लीकेशन दिया था, अर्जी दिया था। वो अर्जी के तौर पर उनके पिताजी का वो जो लड़की का पिताजी उनके बयान दर्ज करके हमने सुमोटो मिसिंग दाखिल किया था। उसके बाद में जो मिसिंग का इन्वेस्टिगेशन है वो हमारे स्पेशल ब्रांच के ऑफिसर है एपीएस साहब, उनको मैंने दे दिया था और उन्होंने पिताजी का स्टेटमेंट वापस पूछताछ किया था। उसके बाद में जो लड़की मिसिंग उसका मोबाइल डिटेल्स, जो आफताब लड़का उसका मोबाइल डिटेल्स, बैंक स्टेटमेंट्स, उसका बचपन का जो दोस्त है लक्ष्मण नाडर उसके स्टेटमेंट, हमने बैंक डिटेल्स निकाला है लड़की का। लेकिन उसमें ऐसा है कि 18 मई को एक बार 50,000 एक बार 4,000 ऐसा 2 बार ट्रांजैक्शन हुआ है।
Earlier today, the police reportedly found traces of blood in the kitchen of the 2-bedroom apartment Walkar shared with Poonawalla. Samples have been sent for DNA tests and Shraddha's father's blood samples have also been taken by the investigating agencies. The family, however, fears that the delay in cracking the case may provide an escape route to the accused.
तो दिल्ली पुलिस की जो जांच है सर, आप उससे संतुष्ट हैं? महाराष्ट्र पुलिस ने क्या एक्शन लिया था सर स्टार्टिंग में?
उन्होंने खाली इन्वेस्टिगेशन किया।
अच्छा।
हाँ, जो पुलिस की तरफ से जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन होता है, सीडीआर निकाल के कोशिश की, लेकिन तो 1 महीने से भी ज्यादा लग गया, लेकिन उन्होंने कुछ फाइनल रिजल्ट नहीं निकाला। तो उसके बाद उन्होंने फिर बोले कि ये लास्ट लोकेशन श्रद्धा का दिल्ली में दिख रहा है, तो इसलिए हम लोग शायद दिल्ली में ट्रांसफर करेंगे। तो मैंने बोला आप क्यों नहीं कर सकते ये सब काम? तो बोले नहीं, वो उनके लिए इजी हो जाएगा।
All right, let's take this across to our guest. Joining us, we have with us Nirmal Kaur, former DGP of Jharkhand. Mithun Vijay Kumar is a political analyst who's with us. Also with us is Professor Sangeet Ragi, joining us on the broadcast. He's a political analyst. Syed Hassanul Haque, advocate and political analyst, is with us. Also is Zeba Yasmin, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Nirmal Kaur, I'd like to come to you first. It's going to be very difficult at the moment because we know that the murder weapon has not been found. We know that the skull has not been found. Some parts of the body, yes, have been recovered by the police, but they have a very long way to go. And what is even more challenging is the fact that the accused, by his own admission, has come out to say that the evidence has very systematically and scientifically been destroyed by him. So is there even a possibility that the police or the prosecution would be able to build a watertight case?
See, there is a very, very strong circumstantial evidence in this case. And also, whatever few pieces have been found, 10 or 12, even if one tiny, you just need a few cells to match the DNA. Even if one tiny DNA cell matches, perhaps that will do the trick. And also, Fridge, jitna bhi smart ho, criminal can be very smart. But some traces are always left behind. So if thoroughly checked, maybe under the fridge, in some corners, in some nook. Very little is required. The quantity required is not much. So something will come out which will prove that she was there, and yes, her traces were there. Some DNA matching would come out. I'm very sure of it. And otherwise also there is a very strong circumstantial evidence. And DNA evidence, of course, is a very, very clinching evidence. And if that comes through, nothing like it. But otherwise also circumstantial evidence is very strong. Very strong. And narco test, I don't think it is going to work much on this accused, because he's looks like a very psychopathic personality. Plus the social acceptance of this kind of behavior, कि एक काफिर लड़की पटा लिए, that is rewarded in their system. So these two things together, I don't know how much can be done, but I'm very, very optimistic that we'll be able to tie this.
That's a very controversial point that you've mentioned over there, Nirmal Kaur, and we have seen, of course, several controversial statements coming post this. But let me take that question across to Syed Hassanul Haque. Mr. Syed Hassanul Haque, you've heard Nirmal Kaur, who's a former DGP, who has come out to say that there is certain kind of social acceptance. Whether or not one agrees with that comment, the point is that it is going to be very difficult in this kind of situation for the police to carry out their job, given the fact that there's a lot of evidence that would be very difficult to now gather from the point of view of investigation.
First of all, I would like to thank Times Now. आपका भी शुक्रगुजार हूं मैं। श्रद्धा की हत्या में हम सबको अंदर से झिझोड़ के रख दिया है। ये ऐसी हत्या है कि इस हत्या से लोगों के दिलों से विश्वास उठ गया है, मोहब्बत से और चीजों से। श्रद्धा के पूरे परिवार के लिए मेरे दिल में संवेदनाएं हैं और उम्मीद करता हूं कि जो भी पुलिस इन्वेस्टिगेट करेगी, और उम्मीद करता हूं न्यायालय से भी, कि ऐसी इनको सजा मिले, ये आफ्ताब नाम के जो व्यक्ति हैं उनको ऐसी सजा मिले कि वो आने वाले भविष्य में ऐसा हो साबित हो कि लोगों को सोचने से भी डर लगे। अब कह रहे थे अगर है कोई व्यक्ति, अगर है आफ्ताब नाम का जो व्यक्ति है, इसने ये घटिया हरकत की है। मैंने जब सुना इस चीज को कि इस तरीके की घटना हुई है देश में और 35 टुकड़े किए हैं, मैं बोल नहीं पा रहा हूं इस पे, मैं कि क्या कहूं मैं इस पे।
जी नहीं, आप एक वकील हैं, लेकिन आप भी अप्रिशिएट कर सकते हैं कि इस केस में अल्टीमेटली अगर सजा होनी है, अगर इफ जस्टिस has to be done, and let me take that question across to other panelists also who are joining us. Mithun Vijay Kumar, ultimately, in a court of law, it is the evidence gathering that will actually have to be proved. If a watertight case has to be made, there may be circumstantial evidence, but there has to be an unbroken chain of events, as we know. What is quite shocking in this case is the fact that the accused himself has said that he has destroyed a lot of evidence. But will that be enough to nail him in a court of law? We've seen how there have been acquittals recently in heinous crimes such as rape. So that standard, if it applies in this case, it may be a very, very challenging job for the prosecution.
Yes, it's true that the court can only come up with a verdict based on evidences, and the accused who has masterminded this whole plot in a very unimaginable fashion. He might have planned for it as well. He might have destroyed evidences. So and also what the DGP, former DGP, was saying. There could be a case of love jihad as well, because see, even love jihad couldn't be proved in this country. Even NIA couldn't prove it, but we have seen classic cases where women have been forced, and not forced, they have been trapped in love and made to join even ISIS. There are cases in Kerala where women were forced and converted, and then they were taken to join ISIS camps. We have the case of Akhila Hadia. We have the case of Nimisha Fatima, who is somewhere rotting in Afghanistan at present. So there could be a love jihad angle in this, and we must not leave it aside just to be politically correct. And the girl's father is claiming it. He's the one who suspects love jihad in this, and let the police investigate that aspect as well. Along with collecting evidences, they must also see if there are other elements, there are anti-social radical elements involved in this.
Is there anything that actually conclusively proves love jihad at this point of time? This is a question that we have been examining. At least at the moment, nothing has come out that conclusively proves that it is love jihad. But let me take that question across to Zeba Yasmin. Zeba Yasmin is a spokesperson of the SP. Zeba Yasmin, we've seen yesterday Giriraj Singh come out and say this. We've seen a leader from Mumbai, Ram Ramdas Kadam write a letter to the Delhi police now saying that this angle of love jihad should be proved. Even the father has come out in the public domain saying that this is something that he suspects. As of now, as I've just said, there appears to be no proof at least, but there is a significant section of people who are saying that this is an aspect that should be probed by the police. How do you see this?
See, a moment before, one of my parents was saying that there's no love jihad, nobody has, love jihad hasn't been proved, rather. So if the angle is there, it is a matter of investigation. Anything which is forced is a crime. If you force me to speak or force me not to speak, it is also a crime. So forcing somebody to convert is again a crime. It has to be investigated and the person has to be punished. And these kind of incidences, this Shraddha case, it's a heinous crime. We shouldn't think twice before, punishing Aaftab. And my funda is very clear. If it is a heinous crime, then heinous punishment should be given. It should be in the fast-track court. And since Nirbhaya happened, we thought, the system, our Indian system decided to put all these heinous crimes into fast-track courts, but nothing happens. If he's found guilty, see what happened in Gujarat. The accused were, set free just because of their good conduct. How can you set free people who murdered, who raped the girl? So this kind of examples you're setting, which is motivating Aaftab, which is motivating one Shadab in Lucknow who, threw a girl from 4th floor last night. So these kind of incidences are happening just because of our system. It is unfortunate that our system is not able to save our girls. It is very unfortunate.
All right, let me take that across to Sangeet Ragi. It's a larger issue that is systemic, where women continue to be unsafe in this country after several legal changes in our architecture have also been brought in, Sangeet Ragi. That's a statement coming in from Zeba Yasmin. She says probe it, but at least at the moment there's nothing on record to prove love jihad.
I don't agree with this statement that there has been no love jihad. There is a clear-cut cases of love jihad, and in one of the cases...
in this case, sir, and also let's not forget that Supreme Court, not a single case has been proved in a court of law. It's gone up all the way to Supreme Court, as we all know.
Sir, 26-year-old Muhammad Afzal was reportedly, he abducted with a 16-year-old girl and has been already convicted. Let me come back to this question. My position for last 2 days has been simple. Have you seen this kind of gruesome and heinous murder being committed by a Hindu boy towards a Muslim girl? Show me one example. Whereas, on the other hand, I can cite hundreds of examples which shows that there is a pattern. And why this pattern emerges? Because the Muslims boy first trap the Hindu girl, then when the marriage comes to, then they are asked to convert. Some of them...
Okay, yes. I'm going to allow Syed Hassanul Haque to comment on that, because we can't make generic statements. One second, Professor Ragi, we can't make generic statements. If you make a generic statement like that, we should back it up with certain facts and claims. All right, Syed Hassanul Haque. Syed Hassanul Haque, your response.
यहाँ ये एक बार इन्होंने नहीं बोला कि ऐसे क्राइम अगर कोई करता है कोई व्यक्ति, उस पे सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए, इसके खिलाफ लॉ बनना चाहिए देश में। बलात्कारियों के खिलाफ लॉ बनना चाहिए, लेकिन ये व्यक्ति जो बलात्कारियों का सपोर्ट करता है, ये व्यक्ति जो सेंगर का नाना है, जो सेंगर का साथी है, ये लोग कहाँ बोलते हैं आप तक? ये सेंगर के साथी प्रोफेसर।
All right, it's undoubtedly a very sensitive issue. It's undoubtedly an extremely sensitive issue, and certainly, of course, this is an issue that has shocked the entire conscience of the nation. There's several aspects of this that are entirely debatable. We'll have to see what the entire investigation in this brings out. I'd like to thank our guests for joining us.